Welcome to From the Honeycomb podcast, where entrepreneurship meets creativity, intention, and mindfulness. Each episode blends honest conversation, business insight, and a unique perspective designed to spark confidence, inspiration, and a more thoughtful approach to building a business. If you're an entrepreneur, a creative professional, or someone looking to build something that truly matters, you've come to the right place. So settle in, take a deep breath, and let the buzz of positive energy spark your curiosity. Today, I am joined by Charlotte Lilley, founder of The Retreat Company. After years in a fast-paced corporate tech role, she took the leap from side hustle to a full-time passion. Today, she creates ski retreats, summer camp-style getaways, corporate retreats, and community events, all thoughtfully designed to bring women together. Charlotte, welcome to From the Honeycomb.
Excited to be here.
Excited to have you. Excited to reconnect. So for listeners who don't know, Charlotte and I actually met at one of Charlotte's retreats, the Jackson Hole retreat, the ski retreat this past February, which was incredible. Like so many amazing memories, such an amazing trip, which we can even probably talk about in the episode. But I'm really excited to have Charlotte on From the Honeycomb today.
I'm so excited to be here. I love your sweatshirt.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't sit still. I know. I'll have to put that we'll have that on the YouTube, or not on the YouTube, I'm sorry, on Instagram, so you can see it. Yeah, I can't sit still. Just, what a great retreat. There's so much to gush about. We'll get into it, but just want to say thank you too for putting together such an amazing retreat, because it was incredible to see just the variety of women who came together for the weekend. And it was just, everybody had different experiences and stories and and we all just clicked with this one thing we like to do is skiing. And it was just incredible. Just want to say thank you again for putting together such an amazing group.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Yeah. So as you know, we begin every episode by sharing something that we are grateful for in the present moment. So Charlotte, what are you grateful for?
A lot of things, but personally right now, I'm feeling grateful for being able to be in a job that's flexible and where I get to flex my creativity. Coming from corporate, like you mentioned, it's just, everything's going so fast. You're kind of given your rules. And so it's just been so enjoyable day in and day out to just do what I feel is right and get creative and plan these things that I love so much. So that's what I'm grateful for.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. No, it's nice when you get to be creative in your job too. And I think it just it fills so many different cups too. It's not just that 9-to-5 grind. So very lucky.
Yeah. Growing up, I used to be really creative. And then I went into corporate and I learned how to be this operational, structural machine. And so you can still be creative, within bounds. And that's why now, being creative with this sort of job is I have an idea and I can execute on it.
Yes.
And we'll see how it goes.
No, love it. Love it. So Charlotte, can you kind of share with us a little bit? So we know you worked in corporate, but when was that shift for you when you're I want to start planning retreats. I want to start, using that creativity. When was that and how did that look like for you?
It was probably before I started what was then called the ski retreat. I always kind of wanted to be my own boss and I always wanted to start my own thing, but I didn't really know what that would be. And I started getting into listening to all these podcasts with female founders and reading these books. And my friends would give me books. There's one called In the Company of Women. And
yes, I have that.
Yeah. Okay.
I do. Cool. It's actually right behind me. I think it's this white book right there.
Yeah. That's a good book. And I'm it's literally 15 years old or something, but I need a new one. But it just inspired me. And meanwhile, was planning ski trips left and right every winter with friends, with girls trips, guys, girls trips. And then I'd always plan trips for my work. So it'd be a 30 to 50 person trip because I liked it. And I actually went on this yoga retreat and was how do I get this woman's life? She runs these retreats. She goes to all these cool places in the world. She's obviously doing what she's loving. And I was but I don't really want to be a yoga instructor. Yeah. I love yoga, but that's, not really what I want to be doing. But then I was oh, I'm planning all these trips. Why don't I plan them for people I don't know? And at first it wasn't going to be just for women. Actually, I was I'll just plan ski trips. And then though, as I sat down and really started thinking about what is the brand, what is the why, what do I want from this? It sort of clicked. I was oh, this should be for women only. And I was oh, and then it was I was gone. Then I had my mission pretty much. And I just started from there. So it was 2018 when I did my first retreat.
Wow.
back in the day, which was really cool. And that was on the side of my corporate job. And for a number of years, it was kind of a hobby. Fast forward to a year and a half ago, I quit my job and I'm doing it full time now. So
Amazing.
yeah, that's kind of the history. And the whole time it was super fun. I never wanted to not do one. Luckily, our retreat during COVID was in January, so we didn't even have to skip that year.
Nice.
So it's been consistently running for the 8 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, congratulations too. And congratulations on making the leap. So few people feel like they can make the leap because it's so scary, but then jumping in full, especially in the last year and a half, that's amazing. And so how has it been now, like a year and a half in? Because one thing I've noticed with entrepreneurs is you find something that you're passionate about, you want to do it. But then there's also like the business aspect of it. Like you have to become like an LLC or an S Corp or something, and then taxes and all that stuff. So how has it been now that you've been on your own?
It's been awesome. I started the LLC actually back in 2018 because I knew I did want it to be a business. And so it's always run as like a business. But I think, categorically, it counts as a hobby if you aren't making X amount of money,
Right.
And so, yeah. So now I would say it's more of a business. And yeah, just going back, like taking the leap was definitely something that I thought about for years.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite podcasts also, other than this one, is Second Life. It talks about women who had like their first life, their first career, and then they leave that to start their own gig. And I listened intently to like when they decided to make that leap, and everybody kind of leap looks different. And for me, it was like just time. There's like a few factors that came to be where I was like, this is the time. And I was so excited about it, but also nervous. Yeah, I think now after running it, so once I was like, wow, this is going to be a full-time thing in all seasons, I decided to add on camping retreats, so a summer element. And then I wanted to do kind of like corporate retreats for women who are like me, who are kind of burnt out, who probably weren't getting the recognition they should be getting, who crave connection with other women. I came from a more male-dominated space. And so, yeah, I was like, well, I can't call it just the ski retreat anymore, even though I kind of liked the ring to it. But that's when I rebranded to the retreat company and added these different, product lines, basically. So, in the first year, I grew, 5-10x because I also was able to do more ski retreats, which was like what I was more known for. So I added new destinations, and instead of doing 1 or 2, I did 5. And so, yeah, I really grew in that first year. And it's amazing what you can do when you fully have time to dedicate to something. Now I'm like, oh my God, like I need like 3 more people at least right now. But those are like the struggles of being a solopreneur. You're everybody. Yeah. I liked that recent Instagram trend where it was like, this person does this person does that. And then it's like all the same person.
Yeah, I can definitely resonate with that as well. Yeah, it's amazing to see how many roles you need and how much it really takes to put together a retreat, which I think really is fascinating for me too, is like how you come up with a location art. Because I know you started like Jackson Hole. That was the first time you'd ever been to Jackson Hole. So that's amazing to me, is like when you come up with an idea or a location, scouting it. So like how long before you pick a location, like how much research it goes back into it? Because it felt like even the community of women you knew there, which we had a really great evening where we had 3 local entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, shared their story with us, which was really incredible. It's like, it felt like you had been there before, like multiple times. And like, this was like the 10th retreat there. Like you really made it feel like you've been there for so many years, which was amazing. So like, what goes into planning a retreat?
So much. So most of our retreats follow a similar model. They're not exactly the same, they're destination specific and like there's different elements to different ones. But generally speaking, we're Thursday to Sunday. We always have a yoga session. We usually do something creative. We have guest speakers. We have good food. So whether it's a chef or a restaurant or something like that. And so I have those in mind when I'm thinking about destinations. Luckily, I've skied a lot of places. So I'd actually skied Jackson Hole maybe 10 plus years in a row. Oh, nice. So I know the mountain well, but I'd never gotten, it's like when you don't live there, you kind of like just visit a place and, you don't necessarily get to know the local people that well or whatever. And that's why I wanted to incorporate that into the retreat, because when you visit a place, it's nice to know who the people are that are, in this community that make it so awesome. And so usually I choose destinations based off of places that I know pretty well. I want to feel comfortable. I want to know the mountain for sure. Yeah. And Jackson happened to be one of those. Sun Valley, my dad lives there. So I've skied there many, many years. Maybe you'll be the first one to hear, maybe depending on his releases. But I think the new destination for this year is going to be Mount Bachelor in Bend, Oregon.
Wow, nice. Oh my gosh, exciting.
But it's a great, oh my gosh, Bend is a great town, and the mountain's very unique and cool. So, a lot of those elements go into it. So like when we do the yoga, it's finding the right studio, and then it's finding those people who can be our guest speakers. It's finding, who our chef might be or whatever. And so, there's a lot of like reaching out and leveraging connections of connections. And this year, what was great was, another thing that I was able to do with all my time is plan these fun pre-season kickoff parties. I call them snow downs. So like hoedown, but like snow. And they're really just for fun. Honestly, it was like, I just want to go to these fun mountain towns, celebrate the upcoming ski season with a bunch of local community people. So I always had local women businesses join. We'd hosted it somewhere fun, like in Boise, we did pay at brewery. In Jackson Hole, we did midnight lunch. And so it was a really cool way to get to know some of the community before actually coming that season. And I honestly can't wait for those again this year, because it's just such a fun way to get to know people. And that's how I met my videographer for our retreat, was from that.
Yeah, Jacqueline.
Yeah, exactly. So it was cool. It was like, we were there in October, and I was like, cool, see you in February, so it really helped to build community in general and ahead of time. And now I just want to do these snow downs everywhere. So if anyone wants to host one with me, let me know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, of course. We'll provide links in the show notes to connect with Charlotte. But yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that you're building community for the events to build, like you're building community to build community in a way, which is really, really important. And there's so much of it goes into the networking and everything like that. So it's amazing that you're building these connections so early on, even outside of just the retreat itself. That's really amazing. And I love that too, when you're looking at so many things when it comes to the retreat. And even though like for our retreat, when I looked at the schedule, I was like, wow, this is a lot of things. Like you just said, we're skiing, yoga, there's going to be a private chef or a nice restaurant. We're doing something creative, and it's only Thursday to Sunday, and you got to fly in and fly out. And I was like, wow, are we going to be able to have time to do all of this? But it flowed so much, so well, that it was just like, oh yeah, like you never were like, oh, now I got to go to this next thing, or man, I just need a break. Like everything just flowed so well. And it was always like, I was so curious and excited for like the next thing, that you really structured it in a way that it was just like, you didn't want the fun to stop. Like so many of us were like really, really bummed on Sunday morning when we're like leaving. We're like, I'm like, I could do like one more day, maybe 2 more days of this. Like it was like a couple more days. It's amazing too how you structured it. So you've done a really, really good job. And I'm assuming that's also from like, you are like a veteran now with planning events, but still like, I mean, kudos to you for planning something that everyone is just so excited and they want the fun to keep going.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think, as your sweatshirt says, can't sit still is sort of our motto.
Yes.
And a lot of it stems from wanting to make sure that people feel the value, like I don't want people to come and then just like hang out all day. And some retreats are like that, and that's amazing. That's not my retreats. It's just not, we're not going to, despite the name, we do have some downtime. We get the hot tub, we get time and space to go back to our rooms to change and do whatever. But yeah, otherwise it's kind of, from morning to evening, there's something going on. But I have thought about, each day and what goes into it and when we do what. And, if we do this Friday, how are we going to feel Saturday and vice versa. And so, I do really think about the flow and how that's going to impact everybody's experience. And yeah, it's short because we arrive Thursday, we have that night, and then Friday, Saturday are very full days.
Yes.
And Sunday morning is just really short, and then we're on our way. I have thought about extending them because, because of that fact. It's like, it feels like it goes by fast, but in a way, I think it's always good to leave feeling like you want just a little bit more rather than being like, okay, I'm so ready to get out of here.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, honestly, these retreats are selfish. It's exactly everything that I love doing. I'm like, I like this, I like that. I always say women are dynamic, and that's why we have so many random things. It's like you're doing a creative thing, and then you're doing this fireside chat with business owners. So it sparks that side of us. And then yoga and, mindfulness. Obviously, the skiing is what is the anchor. But we're, women like all sorts of things. And so that's what I'm trying to offer in a jam-packed weekend.
Yeah. No, you do a really great job of it. It's like I said, it felt like we got so much of it. And I love yoga. I love skiing. I love being creative. And it's like interesting. And it was amazing. Like I said, it was women, like we were in our 30s, 40s, 50s. And I think there are one or two in their 60s. And that's amazing. Yeah. Even more. There was no 70.
I think almost 70.
Almost. Yeah. I mean, we had quite a diverse group of, I think we were like 14, 15 women. Amazing. And like, it just felt like also like by the end of the weekend, we were like, oh my gosh, we've like known each other for so long. And like the conversations I had, like I sat with like Rosie on the airplane, like we got into this like full depth thing about like our lives and just like in depth and like, advice and things like that. And it was just like, wow. Like also I feel like to open up in such a short amount of time. Retreats, usually you'll have like a week-long retreat, and maybe by towards the second half you might open up or something, but we like all opened up that first night, maybe first morning. It was just like, I mean, it took a minute to remember names, which you had a really fun game that like helped us remember names. That was something I was a little worried about. I was like, I'm terrible with names, like I don't know how I'm gonna remember, but it felt like it just was like, we felt like such a group. The 14 of us have been traveling together. This is our like 10th ski trip, and like it just felt like community, which is amazing.
That's so cool. Yeah. I mean, that generally speaking is the reason for these retreats, the connection piece.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, when we do a survey after the retreat, and I think it was 90% said that they left with a meaningful friendships. And a few people mentioned, oh, I got better in my skiing, which is kind of funny. It's more about that connection piece, and that's what people remember, and that's what they get out of it, and that's kind of what they want from it. Leading up to the season and in the season on a daily basis, I hear women say, I just need other women to ski with. My partner doesn't ski, or my kids grew up and don't want to ski with me anymore. None of my friends ski.
Yeah.
Some of my friends can't afford to ski. Life phases, especially for women. And so it's just challenging for women to find other women to do stuff with in the outdoors, and skiing in particular. And, that's why I also did the camping side, because it's a very similar vibe where many of us kind of get into the sports through a male in our life, whether it's our dad or our partner or something like that. And I want to create a space where women can actually come and learn from other women. Because even if you're joining like a co-ed group, something or other, I feel like the male force sort of dominates it. But with the retreat co, we take kind of that dynamic out of things. And so women feel more confident to speak up, confident to try things, and to, just be themselves. And there really is a difference in those things. And, and some women come and they've never camped before, or they've never skied before. And that's awesome. Like, I love that. 'Cause I'm like, yes, they're going to get into it, and also they're going to be surrounded by women. So it's a potentially more compassionate environment, to learn things in. You don't feel silly if you don't know how to put up your tent. Like, great, we'll help you. And then you get to learn, and then you leave feeling really confident. So that's a huge piece in terms of like why I do this, is to give women that space.
No, definitely. Like, I feel like my female friendship cup was filled so much that weekend. I was just like, I need this. And especially like, and you have the experience, you're coming from a male dominated or, male heavy industry, same as me in architecture. And so like, sometimes I'm just like, I just need like a few women around me to just like soak in the feminine energy and just be like, it's just, and like you said, there's more compassion. It's different. And, it's just a different energy, I think too, like you said, with the co-ed. So I think it was really amazing too. And I really resonated with it. I don't really have, like, my partner doesn't ski. He really doesn't even like the winter. So I'm like, he's like, I don't want to see snow. I was like, okay, well, how am I supposed to go skiing? So I've really been skiing with Sarah, which was my friend who introduced me to the retreat company, because her and her mom were going on the retreat and I had skied with them. And I was like, Jackson Hole's been on my bucket list. Like, I want to do it. And so I was like, you know what, this is great. And it's just like, oh, it was just amazing to be surrounded by women and just skiing, and the level of skiing too. I mean, like, I thought I was a good skier, like a decent skier, but like, wow, the woman really showed up on the ski trip. So that was amazing too, just to see. And I think too, it's also, like you said, if women never know how to ski, like, don't be intimidated by coming onto the retreat. If you don't know how to ski, you can just go take classes or anything like that. There's like, I feel like there was just no judgment on, like, no, none of us knew what level we would be skiing at. So we kind of just figure it out. And then little groups were made and like we skied together, we didn't ski together, and everything just kind of, we just figure it out at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely, I want the point to be that anyone's welcome. Mm-hmm. And we do break up into the different groups, and the ski days are kind of like a choose your own adventure. We always have a buddy, nobody's alone. So there's that, unless you're like in a lesson that you have like a professional with you. But yeah, it's important, I think, to have that. But I also think it's cool that like a beginner can come and an expert can come, because there's everybody. And there's so much that's outside of the skiing. Even if you didn't ski the whole weekend, like I still feel like it'd be a very fun weekend to join.
For sure.
Not that we want that, or whatever. But, I think it's like so much more than just skiing.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And I think too, with all the other activities you have planned, it just provides so much. And I think like going back to what you said about value, you do offer like, so I've never done a retreat before. I have a yoga retreat coming up actually, which I'm very curious to compare it to your retreat to see how like it all comes together. But like the value your retreat, like I really feel like I got like my money's worth as far as like experience, everything that was covered and just like the whole experience, like from the restaurants and just everything. So I think that is something that too is just like invaluable, is the value that your retreats bring, for sure.
Nice. They're fully curated, right? To your point. So it's like the idea is you show up and then you don't have to think about anything for the whole weekend.
Yes. Which I loved.
And also too, kind of what you were mentioning, only a couple times have people come on the trip with somebody. Most of the people on these trips come solo. And I think that's it's just interesting. I don't market it as like a solo trip for women or anything like that, but it just shows like how many women want something like this and don't a group or other people to do it with. And then they just take this awesome leap and chance to say, you know what, I'm going to do this for myself.
Yeah.
And they come and then they have a great time. And then some people have never done this type of thing before. So it really opens up possibilities for them in terms of what they can do. Again, that confidence piece, which I think is really awesome. I think it's a great landing pad if you've never done something like that before, because it's like easy, it's curated. Yeah. Everybody's going to be great. And, rather than like some trekking something that's like super hard and non-luxurious, So it's like a good thing to do on your own for the first time. But like Sarah and her mom, that was the first mother-daughter duo, which was very cute and fun. And now one of the women from that trip is coming with her daughter to Sun Valley next year.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's amazing.
A little trend that started.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And it's amazing you've had a few repeat. Well, like speaking of Sarah's mom, she went on Jackson Hole, Sun Valley. I think I already know she signed up next year, I heard. So like you're getting so many, and that's something too, is we can talk about is, so you built the community before the event or before the retreat. You build community at the retreat, but you're also working on building community after the retreat. So you're starting, I think you have put together the Facebook group, or it's in the process, right? Like, that's amazing too. So can you kind of share a little bit about after the retreat, what that's like for anybody who goes?
Yeah. We do have quite a few repeat customers, which is awesome. Which, one is great because I'm like, great, I'm doing something right. And two, it keeps me on my toes, right? Because if I have people coming back, I'm like, it needs to be even better, needs to be a different agenda, so keeping me, honest, I guess, is great. And I think for me, what I'm realizing is because we have these repeat people and women, have connected and they continue to go on their own trips together. So that's always fun for me to see. Usually I get a picture too. And if people are in Tahoe, they like text me and hit me up. But I realized that I think that all these women who've been on these individual trips would love each other.
Yeah.
They didn't happen to go on the other trip. So I'm going to start, some sort of group. I think it'll be on Facebook for people to connect. And basically it'll be women who have all been on a retreat before. So they know, at least they all have that shared experience and they can say, oh, which retreat did you do and when? It could be like, I went to Tahoe in 2020. And then, finding other women to connect with and ski with, because that's kind of the whole point. So yeah, I'm really excited for that, actually, for people to be able to stay in touch that way.
No, I think that's great too. And I think also to the point of then who lives in your area, maybe who skis, because that was interesting too, because we came from across a couple states, our group. I think California, Texas, Colorado,
East Coast.
East Coast. We had East Coast. So like it was quite a variety of women. So like that's also kind of cool, is like now you get to find out if you have a buddy near you. It's kind of like not like a dating app, but like in a way, in a way, like, yeah, like you have someone you can find the interest with. So I think that's really cool. Like you really have found an amazing recipe of like building community. Like I said, before the retreat, at the retreat, and now after the retreat, like you're doing a really great job. Like, do you feel like this is like your soul's purpose kind of a thing? Like this is what you're meant to do?
It's funny. I think yes. At least something like this, because I've always been a community builder and I've always been like a rah-rah for women. And I've always liked to bring people together through events. And like I've thrown some like crazy birthday parties, not for big birthdays, like that were wedding style, so
wow.
It's just, I love doing this sort of stuff. So yeah, it just falls right in within the things that I love. And one cool new thing is that we bought a property that's an hour from my house, but it's just outside of Tahoe, and it's 90 acres off of Highway 20. And the purpose is kind of to be an extension of this business where we have a physical space to continue programming, to do cool retreats, to do camping.
Amazing.
We'll also be doing weddings and glamping and long table dinners, and it's also a flower farm.
Nice. Oh my gosh. What a property. Oh my God. Incredible property. Congratulations. Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah. So excited about it. And I love learning new things. I love change. I love challenging myself. I think part of leaving corporate was I'd been in my type of role for a long time and was sort of a pioneer in that role within tech. And so I feel like I kind of like mastered it in a way. Obviously, you can continue to learn, and especially with AI now, and it's such a cool role. It was customer marketing and it's growing a lot and stuff. But I was sort of like, yeah, I could do something different. Like I love kind of like ripping it all off and starting from ground zero and then learning again. And for me, the property is that. Like I have some seedlings growing in my house. I've been, shoveling and laying irrigation and mudding, so now I'm a construction worker.
Yeah, nice.
Great. So yeah, I just love kind of like the learning new things and whatever. And I'm excited for that to be just another place where we get to bring people together.
No, that's amazing. I think you really have found your calling then too, especially if you like learning stuff, challenging, but being creative. I think you're never going to get bored. Like you're never going to get bored. There's always something new, always something to do. And so I think, yeah, you've really found something that you're passionate about, which is amazing. So then you can tell like, you're like, even you've been like glowing more and more during the episode. And like, I can tell like, it's just like, yeah, this is what you're meant to be doing. And so it's amazing that you found it. I think that's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it is. It's cool. And it's really, I encourage women to sort of think about what they're passionate about. I don't think that, becoming an entrepreneur and like chasing your passion for your job is necessarily the right choice for everybody. I mean, Tana from Illa app in Jackson Hole, if you follow her on Instagram, she did her thing. She's been an entrepreneur like thrice, she's just through that way and she's phenomenal. But she does make that point a lot. Like she went back to a job, a really cool job. So
yeah, she does have a cool job.
And she talks about, yeah, I did that for a while. I chased my dream, made my passion my job. She's like, nope, now I want to have my job and like love my passions.
Yeah.
And have it enable those passions.
Yeah.
So I think it's, jury's out. It's a year and a half in, it'll be 2 years. I mean, in my mind, I don't see many changes. I see like totally running in this direction full blown. And especially with the property, like it makes me just thrilled. Yeah. So yeah, I think the challenge that I have ahead now is just scaling from a business perspective. It's just been me. So I've been bringing on some VAs. I've been looking into AI. I'm taking an AI course right now that's really about like automating some really cool processes. That's the other thing. I just, there's so much to learn and do, but there's also so much to execute on at the same time. But yeah, I think scaling is going to be my biggest challenge because retreats are kind of a low margin business. It's just the things that we do. Oh, we happen to go to ski towns. Those happen to be the most expensive places.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And then like what we do, is like quality experiences. And I try to keep it as affordable as I can for people to keep it accessible. So I'm just trying to get creative in terms of how I can actually scale the business, get something that's, pays me maybe close potentially to what I was making before would be great.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of on the real side things, but
no,
yeah.
It's important too to discuss that. It's important too to discuss the realities of, you have the passion, but that's what I like is also entrepreneurs sharing now I have to think about scaling. I have to take an AI course on how to figure stuff out. Like the business hat has to come on. Like you have the passionate, creative side, but then at the end of the day, bills have to be paid, taxes have to be paid, all of that has to be managed. And then how do you scale? So it's amazing to think, it's great to hear that you're thinking about the scaling. Like I'm going to be very curious. Maybe we'll have you back on in like a year or two, just to see how that scaling is, because so many entrepreneurs think about that. I'm in a similar position. I'm now 3 years into my business thinking about scaling. What does that look like? Because it's scary bringing other people on, because it's also very hard to find good people. And so that's a whole other conversation we can have, but it's a lot to build and grow a business. So I'm excited for you to scale, and you've got a property. And I think too, it seems like you're going at the right pace too we'll see how you'll see, you'll feel it, but it feels like you're going at a good, healthy, sustainable pace as well.
Yeah. It's kind of like in terms of retreats, if I, were the one hosting them all the time, that's just not that scalable. And it sort of burns you out because you're either like prepping for a retreat, on a retreat, or just coming off of one and sort of wrapping almost, for months at a time. It was every 2 weeks this winter. Was a retreat. And so, it's just kind of a lot for one person. And if you are the one person doing the emails and the marketing and the support and the questions and the logistics of the retreat, and then you're on the retreat. So it's kind of a lot. I love it in a way because, coming from the startup world, you wear a lot of hats and it's fast paced. And so I, for better or worse, was like raised that way in my career. Not to say that's the best way. I've definitely had to decompress from burnout. Like when I first left, I remember being working as if people were watching me, And then now I have to be like, this is my business. Nobody's watching, I can do it at my own pace. And so that, trying to get to a healthier balance is good, but also you don't become an entrepreneur if you want a healthy balance. It's an interesting one. You're flexible, but you're not really balanced, I would say. So, it's working for me right now, but I think over time, and if on the brink of motherhood, I'm trying to become a mother. And so I think it'll be good in that way. Who knows? I know only because I hear all these podcasts with women who became moms, and they say it actually does work well for them, but I'm sure there's many cases where it doesn't. So my journey TBD on how any of that will come out, but I'm just grateful I've been able to have the opportunity to do this. Kind of looping back to where we started is to be able to even try this and live it for a little while. I'm just super grateful for that.
Well, I think that's a perfect way to end the episode. I think you just tied it up with a bow right there. You did my job for me. I love it. That was perfect way. I was figuring out a segue, but you, Charlotte, you did a great job. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on From the Honeycomb podcast. This has been such an amazing conversation. I loved learning a little bit more about behind the scenes of how it came to be, how the retreats come together, but also then just sharing, hearing more from you has been amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's so fun, and it's been so nice getting to know you and hanging out more.
Yeah, for sure. And where can listeners find you, connect with you?
Our Instagram is _the retreat company. And then our website is www.theretreat.company. And those are probably the best two places. You can always email me though and DM us on Instagram. When I say us, it's me.
Yeah. Perfect. And you have a newsletter, which I'll put a link in the show notes too. That's the best way to stay up to date. Sounds like you're rolling out retreats. You've already rolled out 2027 ski retreats. You've got camping retreats coming up. So yeah, newsletter is the best way to stay updated if you want to know what's happening.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much. Thank you for spending this time with me on From the Honeycomb podcast. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to rate, review, and share it with someone who's building something of their own. To stay connected, follow along on Instagram at From the Honeycomb podcast. You can also support the show through the Patreon link in the show notes. It really truly does help keep these conversations going. And if you want more behind the scenes insight, reflections, and tools for running a mindful and successful architecture business, be sure to subscribe to my monthly newsletter. All links are in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, stay curious.